It's Do Time with Pastor Steph.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Rise and shine. You're on with this Do Time with Pastor Steph. How are you this morning? That's what I like to hear. That's what I like to hear. For this is the day the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. So, where were you yesterday? Yesterday was Let's Talk About It Tuesday, Church Folk Day. And we had some talking to do. You know, I got to tell you, we had a very interesting conversation about a young lady and her mother. And we were hit with an age restriction on our channel. And still trying to get the heads or the tails as to what we can actually say here, because it's amazing how you go to some channels and they're cursing and all kinds of things, but yet we could not have this conversation without being hit. Now, all of our content, I always mark no kids, because I don't want to fall under all of the parameters that you need to in order to keep your channel going without having some age restriction stuff go on. But lo and behold, you know, the enemy is doing all kinds of things, anything to keep us from healing, anything to keep us from pushing forward. Again, you know, a very devastating story about, you know, a mom and daughter relationship, and you know how bad it ended. And you know, we moved on to this new North Carolina abortion bill, where you know the Republican legislators are really trying to do away with us, if you understand what I'm saying to you. And you know, they've come, you know, to the point where they've backed up, you know, life to begin at the moment of conception. You know, at one point it was after you're this week's pregnant or that week's pregnant. Now they have backed it up to the moment of conception, and they are giving carte blanche opportunity to actually, from an outside point of view, stop, and that's by any means necessary, anyone who you may feel has made a decision to end your life or another person's life. So it's interesting how they don't want you to be involved with making the decision of what's going on with you and your body, but they would actually allow someone else to speak as to what's going on with you and your body. Isn't this crazy? Well, again, the enemy comes to kill, steal, and destroy. And we're not stopping him. We're not saying, boy, he's getting worse. We are not stopping him at all. And that's why we always make the appeal to you to choose Jesus, because we don't have a whole lot of voice out here in this world. And that's why I started off talking about the restriction of the YouTube channel, you know, because you don't have say. I don't care where you are in life. I don't care what you're doing in life. You don't have the final say over anything, but you do have the final say over whether you will choose Jesus as your personal savior or not. You will make this decision. You are the final say on whether you have chosen peace over your life. And only God and Jesus can give you the peace you need in order to maintain a life in this world. You know, the word of God says that we are in this world, but we shouldn't be of the world. And I tell you, The way you have to navigate through this thing called life, through this world, is amazing. But if you hold on to God and you allow Him to be the pilot and tell you what to do and be your GPS, there is nothing you won't be able to get through. I don't care what it is. Okay? All right. Well, that's how we spent our Tuesday. Well, today is Wow Wednesday, everybody. Yes. Woo, we made it halfway through the week, the first Wednesday in the month of June, a day we've never seen before and a day we'll never see again. So come on. Let's make this the best it can possibly be to get our day started. So let's go get that healthy breakfast. Go tell somebody, anybody, everybody that It's Due Time with Pastor Steph is on. And whatever you do, don't go anywhere because we will be right back.
And that make your life easier should feel it when he come home. I want my man to walk into peace, hot food, a clean space, a shower ready, his clothes laid out so the world can finally get off his shoulders for a minute. Allow him a moment to decompress and be to himself after a long day at work. If he out here handling business, protecting us, making sure I'm okay mentally, emotionally, financially, why would I not want to pour back into him too? And no, that's not being submissive or losing yourself. That's what happens when two people actually care about making life easier for each other. I think social media made people scared to nurture the person they love. Everybody want to receive softness, but nobody want to create it. The best relationships are mutual. He brings me peace. I bring him peace. Nobody keeping score. We just take care of each other. The healthiest relationships be two people quietly making life easier for each other, not two people competing over who doing more. A man that makes
Good morning, and good morning again. Welcome back to It's Due Time with Pastor Steph. That PSA we're coming back to. Hot topic of today. I was kind of waffling on what we were going to talk about, but didn't I just get finished talking about peace? And that video was sitting right out there when I was actually talking. I had no idea what it was going to say. So we can't wait to come back to that. But before that, we can't wait to get a hold of our girl Vivian and her socially conscious segment. Let's say good morning.
Good morning. Happy Wild Wednesday. How are you, Pastor Steph?
I am well. Thank you, Vivian. How are you?
I'm well, thank you.
Good. You know what I like to ask you? What you got for us today?
Alrighty, today, Socially Conscious, we are starting off with we discussed that puts hundreds of millions of dollars in early education. They say the goal is to help more families afford childcare, expand programs for younger children. We know that they have opened up the 2K and 3K universal pre-Ks for 2 and 3 year olds. And they're saying it eventually makes pre-K available to every child across the state. State leaders say that this will help parents get back to work and save families money. But people are coming forward with complaints that they are forgetting about the workers. They're saying the issue is that while New York is spending a lot more money on child care programs, many child care workers are still making low wages. So they're saying that advocates actually pushed for $500 million to go towards increased pay child care workers and keeping teachers from leaving the field. But that money did not make it to the final budget. Right now, many child care centers already have long wait lists because they can't find enough staff to cover these classrooms. Critics say you can build more programs, but if there aren't enough teachers to work in them, what is the point? So in simple terms, New York is spending money to create more child care spots for children, but not nearly as much money to make sure that there are enough workers to fill these classrooms. Next, we have an interesting story. They're saying a charter bus out in Virginia crashed. It left 5 people dead and more than 40 injured after the bus slammed into slow traffic on Interstate 95. The driver is now facing involuntary manslaughter charges, and investigators are looking into what caused the crash. Now, the interesting part of this story is that they're saying that this driver got his commercial driver's license out in New York City, but that he spoke no English. So they're asking, should they mandate that drivers who are getting their CDLs, commercial license, or anything of that sort be able to speak English? They're saying federal law requires commercial drivers to be able to read road signs and to communicate with law enforcement and emergency responders. But how can you communicate if the emergency responders who pull up speak English and you don't? So the crash is now raising questions about whether those standards are being properly enforced and what role, if any, should language barriers play when it comes to granting someone a commercial license, a CDL, or any professional license of that sort. Should they be mandated to be able to speak and understand English or to get these licenses out here, or does that not matter? Next, we have some split news. As they say, millions of Social Security recipients could see a larger increase in their money next year, 2027. They're saying early projections suggest that the 2027 cost of living adjustment, known as COLA, could be around 3.9%, which is up from the 2.8% that they received this year. The average retiree, that could mean about $80 more per month, raising the typical monthly benefit from roughly $2,081 to $2,162. But the reason why this is split news is because they're saying although these benefits are going up, they're projecting that the cost of living will also be going up next year. So the reason checks may be increasing is because inflation is rising again. That means groceries, housing, utilities, healthcare, and other essentials are going to cost even more dollars. Many seniors say that even if the benefits go up, the increase often gets eaten up by higher living expenses and higher Medicare costs. So everything is going up. And although they're getting a 3.9% increase, is that even enough? In addition to this news, they're saying that SNAP is making big changes. The program formerly known as food stamps, starting this month, they are cracking down on the recipients having to prove that they are either working, volunteering, or participating in job training to keep receiving their benefits. As far as I know, this has always been a thing, but I guess they've been a little lenient, and now they say that they will be more strict on making sure that those who receive are actually working, volunteering, or in some type of job training program. In many cases, the requirement is 80 hours per month, which works out to be about 20 hours per week. Say the goal to encourage forced participation while still providing support for those who need it. The changes will mainly be affecting adults 18 to 64 years old who do not qualify for exemptions. People who qualify for exemptions are the disabled, pregnant, or someone who is caring for a young child. Those are the ones who are generally exempt. Supporters say the policy encourages self-sufficiency, while critics are arguing it could leave vulnerable people without food stamps if they struggle to find work, transportation, or volunteer opportunities. So again, we always like to hear from you guys. Are they putting people in a bad position by cracking down on this requirement? Or is this fair to be asking for? Our wow story of the week, which is a listener submitted story. Out in Colorado, prosecutors say a 2-year-old boy was killed by a man who had met the child's mother only days earlier while she was working at the front desk of a Motel 6 that he was staying in. Authorities say the man was a guest at the motel. They began a relationship. Him and the mother began a relationship. Number 2 reportedly moved in together just days after meeting. So she picked up and moved into his Motel 6 room with him. Investigators alleged that while he was babysitting the toddler, so mom could go downstairs to work at the front desk, the man became frustrated when the child would not stop crying. He bit the child and slammed his head into a door frame, causing fatal injuries. Now, the whole wild story of it all, because we've heard this story countless times, but people are actually saying that this is the fault of these high prices. They're saying that the government needs to make sure that people are in the position to afford childcare, to afford living, to have their own place. And maybe if that was put in place, that she would not have made the decisions that she did to move in with this man and allow him to babysit her child days after meeting him, and that this child will still be alive. So they are actually leaning on the leaders to make sure that things are being put in place so that women do not have to make decisions like this. Interesting. Very interesting. But this has been Vivian with Socially Conscious, giving you the news that we are following. And remember, if you have any wild stories you'd like to submit, please feel free to direct message me on Facebook. My username there is Vivian BM. And come back every Wednesday to find out if your story has been chosen. Thank you, as always, to our loyal viewers and listeners. And thank you, Pastor Steph. Can't hear you.
Thank you. Thank you. You were cut off for your first story. Please, really quickly, can you just give that story again? We didn't hear the first part of your story.
Okay.
You're talking about childcare expansion?
Yeah, so they were talking about the money that the state is putting into childcare, but their issue is that they're putting all this money into childcare to make sure that families can afford it, but they're not giving money to the teachers to make sure that there are staff in the classrooms. So they're saying that they actually put out to give $500 million to the fund in order to help increase pay for child care workers and keep teachers from leaving the field. But unfortunately, that $500 million did not make it into the final budget. So they are criticizing leaders, saying that you're putting a lot more money into child care, but not considering the child care workers.
Okay. Thank you so much. Part of your last story, your wild story, got cut off. But I think I got most of it. Okay. Thank you so much, girl. You brought us some stuff. I know you wish you could be here today to talk about these ones, because I even broke one of your stories up into two. So thank you so much for giving us some conversation today. And
You're welcome.
Pray you have a blessed day.
Thank you. You as well. Have a good day, everyone.
All right. Well, you know what we do on Wednesdays, we go backwards. So if you're in the room, please let me know that you're there, because other than that, I can't give you a shout out. We got a check-in from our King Terrence. Good morning. Thank you so much for joining us this morning, Terrence. I know you're going to be all up in this conversation today. Serge, good morning. Thank you so much for joining us. We pray you have a safe traveling time. We got a check-in from our girl, Ketty. Hey, Ketty girl. Thank you so much for joining us. And I'm just going to call you Raz. Good morning. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Our day is going quite well, especially now that we got Vivian's socially conscious items. Woo, baby. We got Pal. I'm just going to call you Pal. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. A hearty hello to you too. And Katie says, love that color shirt. Thank you. As a matter of fact, this berry color is actually the color that's going to go for the cancer awareness this upcoming prayer and awareness walk. We're not breaking cancer down into the different areas. We're just doing one color, and this is the color. So thank you very much. We got to check in from our girl, Lady Tamika. Good morning. Be happy to talk to you on this side of the camera. And Katie says, great PSA. Definitely a great PSA. We got to say good morning to the ladies that hold it down each and every day. Let's say good morning to our girl, Shantice. Hey, Shantice. Thank you so much for joining us and helping us to hold it down. Can't wait to talk to you. And our girl, Anika. Thank you so much for making sure we're always humming and running each and every day. Thank you so much. Miss Grace, we hope that you have recovered from all the festivities and you are doing well and you are with us this morning. And we pray you have a nice, peaceful day. All righty. So let's get to talking. Where my girls at? Let's say good morning to Lady Tamika. Alrighty. We know I see her in the room. There we go. Good morning.
Good morning. Happy Wow Wednesday to you. How are you?
Good morning. I am well, thank you. How are you?
Well, thank you.
Good. We got some items on the list, girl. We got some items out here. Let's say good morning to our girl Shantice.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
Good. I'm well, thank you. This morning. All right, ladies, we got some stuff to talk about. Well, they have added more money to the state's child care services, and the teachers are supposed to get an increase. But even though they have laid out $500 million for the increase, they've gone even down to 2K. So now we got 2K, 3K, 4K. So you're including all of these children, but they can't take more children into some of these locations because they don't have enough money for the staff. And so they're clearly not balancing out anything. And the money didn't hit the budget, so there's no money for the individual teachers. So how are they supposed to get this done? Lady Tamika, what's your thought? Are they really moving where they really want to help or not?
I just get so tired of it. It seems like year after year after year, there's always something, with this budget, and, you want to service the children, but you also need to take care of those that take care of the children. We have seen since the pandemic, a lot of parents, that's the teacher's responsibility. You kind of throw everything on the teachers, but you don't understand. When you drop your children off, your teachers look one way. When you come to pick them up, they look stressed, they look tired. I do see that what will probably end up happening is the teachers will now strike, which is hard, but you got to pay them the money because they spend more time with your children than you do.
Absolutely. Shantice, what say you? Is the balancing act actually working?
Where is the money going? How is it all of this money is being allocated for childcare, but the workers, the money just didn't make it to that part of the budget? There's no childcare if there's no one to care for the child. That's what I thought. I thought in order for it to be child care, there has to be someone there to care for the child. So how is it that they're not the first ones to get a quarter, 25 cents, something? That needs to be the first area, because you can always find somewhere to donate food. You can always find somewhere to donate supplies. But you can't find nowhere to donate so that these teachers can pay their bills. So how is it that the funds didn't, where's the money going? Because I don't see any decked out King of Zamunda looking daycare centers. So where's the money going? The money isn't going to the people who are licensed to have daycare centers in their homes. These homes are not decked out. If it's a storefront or a standalone building, I don't see anything that has me stopping like, whoa, I wish I was back in daycare. Where's the money going? They just keep shooting themselves in the foot. And it's just like, stop saying y'all doing stuff. Just shut up. Just, you know what? Wake up and just do it. Don't report you gonna do it. Don't report you have any money. Just do it.
$500 million. $500 million. How does anything get left out of the budget when you have allocated $500 million?
Right.
That doesn't even make sense. Now, like you ladies have said, okay, well, when you're working out a budget and you're trying to figure out the things that you need to spend money on, and we say childcare, let's talk about childcare. How do you not leave employees? How do you leave employees out? That's at the top of your list.
Right.
As a person, I always tell y'all, I work in accounting and for many, many years. Two of the highest expenses of any company is rent and salary. There you go. Rent and salary. So I can't imagine what in the world, and I'm talking about multiple companies in accounting. So it's not like one company. No, the top of your list is rent and employment, because those are the most expensive. So that's why you're always hearing, workers complain that they're not paid enough, or because they're always shaving from the highest thing. But you couldn't possibly imagine putting money out for child care. Like you ladies said, then where's the care? Because you can't care without the people. Are the children supposed to care for one another? We've definitely seen, a shortage of daycare workers that care, but that doesn't speak for the majority of child care workers. So you really need to get yourself together, because as has been said, that's an area you do not need them to threaten to strike. But listen, if they let the nurses go on strike, I guess they'll let anybody go on strike, because I never thought they'd let the nurses go on strike.
Right.
So, I don't understand the plan. There's not a plan, because clearly if there was a plan, then we wouldn't be thinking about having a daycare, child care plan without the care part. Terrence says, I agree with you, Shantice. And we got to check in from Miss Herlima. Where you been? We haven't seen you in so long. Welcome back. Glad to have you with us. Oh my goodness gracious. All right. Now this here, oh boy, is right up my alley. So a charter bus in Virginia had a fatal accident and left 5 dead, 40 injured. And the driver is facing involuntary manslaughter, because they say that at the end of the day, not because of this, but one of the things that came up was the fact that he could speak no English. Now, I want you to know that the accident took place in Virginia of the United States, not Virginia, Dominican Republic, not Virginia, out in another country, right here. He could not speak any English, and they are wondering whether the fact that he could not speak English fared into the inability to read signs. So they're trying to figure out, and they're trying to see if they should mandate, if the drivers of these buses and who hold CDL licenses are mandated to be able to read and speak English. Now, I don't know about you ladies, but a whole lot of questions are coming up in my brain. Hit it, Shantice. What's your thought? Should they mandate or not?
The fact that this is a question is beyond troubling. Should I be mandated to read? How did I pass the test if I can't read?
That part.
Before you take the road test.
Right there.
Before you take the road test, you have to take the reading and seeing test.
Oh, Lord.
So how is it that I gotta take the blind eye test? I can't even take my DMV license. When I had to get my picture taken for my enhanced license, I was so mad because I did not lay my wig on that day. And they told me I had to take my hat off. I was just too, if I wasn't with my grandmother, I'd have been like, you keep that golden nugget, I will be back another day when I'm a little more prepared. What? That's why there's signs. The signs don't just have pictures. There's also, it's not only the picture that means yield, it also says yield. It's not only the octagon, it also says stop. How is it that you're driving and you can't read? Signs are not universal like that. So just because I have my license in the United of the States, that does not mean I can just go drive in other countries and figure, hey, I know those signs like that. No, not only that, I used to drive with one of my best friends. She knows how to read. And I would have to read for her while she was driving. I said, well, we're going to have to rearrange these seats. And I'm not sitting in the passenger seat reading the signs. I might as well drive. Okay, you ask me, what does that sign say? It says pull over and let's switch. That's what that says. Okay, I'm not doing that. It's just too much pressure as a passenger. For the fact that this has to be asked, whoever administered his license needs to get locked up. Because there's no reason why. There's no, and I'm not saying that to try to be funny. I'm not saying that, no, they need to be locked up. Because there's no way I would have to be able to read before I even take the driving test. But you don't. And you have to drive for other people. See, if I get a car, I'm not mandated that someone else is in my vehicle. I'm driving something where others have to. This is my job. No, this is just so retarded. It's just like, what?
We're not allowed to use the word retarded.
I'm sorry. Can I say slow?
Yes, you can say slow. You can say slow. We on a word fast over here. All right. King Wizard, good morning. Thank you so much for joining us and joining the conversation. He says in Massachusetts, we have had 2 state troopers hit by wrong way drivers that don't speak English. One of them passed away. And the biggest problem is that America is one of the easiest countries to drive in. Good morning, Miss Grace. How are you? Thank you so much for checking in. All right, Lady Tamika, what say you? Should they have CDL license holders? Should they have to be readers of English and speakers of English? Jesus.
It's just common sense. You know, if I went to Japan, would I be okay with driving and all these little signs and things? Am I supposed to know them? You know, I'm still trying to figure out how you even pass the permit part. It's all written. Who is your friend in DMV that you even pass? Because that doesn't make sense. And I recall, you know, for those that are New Yorkers, there was I don't know if it's still out there, but there was this thing called the Chinese bus, where you used to get on the bus, pay $20 or $40. You would go to states like DC, Maryland, Virginia, little small spots. Okay, so I was one of those people that decided that I was going to ride one of them. Don't ask me what. Well, no, money was cheap, money was low. So I'm gonna be honest, I risked my life. You know, thank God I'm still here to tell about it. You know, there are things that we do that are not so wise. So I'm sitting on the bus, and I had to go to the bathroom, and I went to the back, and I was like, oh, there's no toilet tissue. Okay, no problem. Go to the front of the bus and ask the bus driver if he has any toilet tissue. So I said, excuse me, is there any toilet tissue? Now he's looking at me, of course, and then I said, oh boy. He doesn't speak English at all. And I'm in a predicament. I have a situation. I need some toilet tissue. So I'm sitting there doing this and, you know, trying to, you know, roll, rip. And he's still looking at me. He's looking up in the ceiling like the words are going to make sense. Like, you have got to be able to understand English. You've got to be able to read it. And you've got to be able to understand. It just doesn't make sense that you were riding this road. You know, like sometimes there's a bus lane, you know, and it's not on a sign. It might be on the street, you know. If you're not understanding it, that you're supposed to be in this lane as a bus driver, you're not going to get it. You know, there are all these other things that change, you know. Okay, fine. You're used to riding this road. Well, now it's no longer for you. It's a one way. So now you can't ride this road. You know, there are things that change on a daily basis, and you have to be able to be astute enough to understand it. The fact that you can't speak English and you can't read it, and you live in a country whose first language is English.
No, it's not. No, it's not. Not anymore. Clearly,
I was going not anymore, but it needs to be. It needs to be. I'm tired of, you know, I gotta make a phone call, press 1. Why?
If I want English, I gotta press 1. Girl,
why?
Stop it.
I'm sorry. I apologize.
Don't get me started. Because the boy, my brain's all over the place since Vivian talked about it. My brain was everywhere. All right, let me read these comments because they are flowing. All right. Terrence says, I don't know why that's even a question to ask. Did they give him a test? Did they give him the test in his language? If they did, father entire DMV. All right. We got John. I'm just going to call you John. Thank you so much for joining us this morning and joining the conversation. He says, you think Chinese don't understand English? They understand English better than English understands English. Really? Okay. That's interesting. How does Chinese drivers in Israel, how do Chinese drive in Israel? They speak Arabic, for God's sake. All right. A Filipino speaks Arabic better than the Filipino speaks Arabic. King Wizard says, what are you trying to say, John? Yeah, because I'm quite confused here. I went to Israel. I met Mexicans speak Arabic better than I can speak Arabic and cooking Arabic food. Okay, so learning these things, are they reading a recipe? Because if you've learned these skills, then that's kind of remote. You can do that. So even though you might be cooking up a storm, that may not speak for your ability to read or speak the language. So thank you for your comments. All right, so the first thing I had in my head was, okay, so you're talking about, now let's pay attention here. CDL. Have y'all ever seen the book to study to get a CDL license? It's about this thing. That ain't the little pamphlet book we get. We just want to be a regular driver. That CDL book is about this thick of English words. So, how did you get a CDL license when you clearly could not have passed this small? That doesn't make any sense. The first thing I said to myself is, he knows somebody in DMV. Somebody pushed him through, because there is no logic here. None whatsoever. You can speak English, but you can read our signs. You can't speak English. This is actually a question, because one doesn't go without the other. How does that even work? The CDL book is this thick, y'all. I looked into trying to get a CDL license because not only do you drive buses, you have to drive. You can drive trucks. There's certain size buses that you need a CDL license for. And I was like, okay, I'm not studying all of this. This is just crazy. How have we gotten this far? Let me say this to y'all. United States is the only place you can go and just live as you wish.
Yep.
When I went to Puerto Rico, we were driving and it was late at night. It was pitch black. And the sign said Oeste 95 or whatever West is in Spanish, 95. And the only way I knew that I was going in the right direction is because I know I needed to go east on 95, and I figured that Oeste meant east. It didn't say east and west. Why? Because I'm in Puerto Rico, and that's not their native language, and I had to adjust and figure out how I was going to make it while looking at Spanish written signs. Everything was in Spanish. We stopped to ask for clarity of directions. And I tell you something, we stopped 3 times and nobody spoke English. See, America is the only place you can go and anything goes. We cater to everyone else. We make it easy for them. Everything we get, we got to get 9 different forms. We got to get English and Spanish and Chinese and Mandarin and Arabic and this one and that. Yo, we are the only place that, accommodates everything and everybody. And I thought the same thing you thought, Lady Tamika. How many times have I been calling somewhere and they say, for English, press 1. Why? Why am I pressing 1? Why don't you say for so-and-so, press 2 or 1 or whatever? Why? Why?
But then when you get a representative, they don't speak English.
My mortgage company, at one point, they sold the mortgage to another company. No matter how many times I called, I never got an English-speaking person because they direct the calls into another country. So here we are in America, and our calls are across the border somewhere. I never got. So finally, and I don't know about y'all, but once I call somewhere and I hear this heavy dialect, my whole attitude,
the heavy
accent, my whole attitude, just because now I gotta listen extra hard to try to understand what you're saying. I gotta repeat myself 9 times. America is the only place you live and you go through this nonsense. How is this man driving or other drivers on the road? And now we're trying to figure out after he's got this CDL license and someone says this is going on in Massachusetts. Yo, this is everywhere in America. We've only heard of Virginia and Massachusetts, but it's everywhere. This is prevalent everywhere. No, the comments. Let me catch up. All right. Terrence says that CDL book makes no sense when most of the things in that book is not on the test. I believe that, Terrence. Vivian says, I think they're going to have them put signs in different languages. Vivian, shut up, because I'm going to be mad. Road signs are universal, but anything else will be redesigned to accommodate them before they mandate them to speak English. I'm mad. You're making me mad, Viv. You're making me mad. Miss Herlima says, either that or he doesn't have a license at all. He knew somebody at the bus company. Yes, I believe that. I believe that over everything, Miss Herlima. He does not. He doesn't. All he knew is a little bit of driving, and they hooked him up. Yes, I believe that 100%. John says they speak the language to that lady. Only spoke Arabic. Should not speak Spanish. I told her why, because no one speaks Spanish. Everybody is speaking Arabic. Terrence says, and that book is about keeping that truck working only. Oh, okay. John says, English is not even my language, and I'm speaking English. I would like to say when someone Chinese doesn't want to speak English and they understand English better than a person speaks English, I caught them multiple times. That's so frustrating. You know, this here. America is already in the toilet. They fighting to get over here. America is in the toilet. We do not take care of. Yes, we do not take care of our own. You are allowing people to come over here from another country, and you're putting us in their hands. Because people like Tamika, whoever, they're boarding buses, they're boarding trains, they're boarding planes. We're trusting that these people are prepared to do their job. And we are just as vulnerable as the day is long. All right, John says, they like to act that doesn't speak English. My mom be acting like she don't speak English and she speaks better than me. I be catching her. Terrence says also, what could have happened was when he was working too many hours and good and tired and not paying attention. You know what's funny that you say that? I just had a conversation yesterday with somebody and said, I have to book, I'm trying to get to Virginia. And that was one of the ways I was not compromising. I wasn't going by bus. I'm too nervous to wonder if they had enough. These were my exact words, Terrence. I said to the person yesterday, I said, I don't want to know if you got enough sleep. I don't want to know if I get up early, if I get an early morning bus trip, if you've been asleep all night, or if I get an evening one, you've been asleep all day. And that's just too much for me to worry about. It's too much for me to worry about. King says, I wonder what the solution is for the driving problem. I think putting signs up in different languages is just going to confuse people. I don't believe you need to put no signs up in no different languages. This is America!
And it is going to confuse people.
Because we're going to have
us focusing on the Chinese sign like we don't realize that's Chinese symbols. Why are you focused over there? Half of us can't focus on the English sign who speak English.
Right. But my thing is, how big the sign gonna be? How big is the sign gonna be that you have to now identify? You're driving. All you need to do is to glance and keep on going. You don't have time to read anything. No, stop, please. When a person acts like he doesn't speak English, that's because he got problems in his head. He speaks English. Imagine he owns a house and tell him his house is on fire. I bet you be speaking English. And that's what John says. All righty. Lord have mercy.
To John's credit, I've seen that as well, where you speak good English, but all of a sudden in this moment, you don't understand English. I remember on the subway, you know how they used to have these peddlers that kind of give you stuff. He walked through the train. He said $1, and so the lady gave him, I think, like 50 cents. He said $1. She just looked at him and took the toy and put it in her purse. He's like, I said $1.
I believe it, Tamika. I believe it, Lady Tamika. I believe it 100%. All righty. You know what? Pastor Kale is a mess. He says, hey, Shantice. Good morning, ladies. You shut up, Pastor Kale. Oh, my goodness gracious. All right. Here we are. Millions of Social Security recipients. They are saying that come 2027, the cost of living adjustment is going to be around 3.9%. Now that could take you from, give you an increase of about $80. Now, here's the downside to this story. The benefits are increasing by 3.9%, but also the cost of living is increasing. Food will increase. Medicine is going to increase. Our Medicare will increase. So the increase that they're giving, that 3.9%, is not going to put us in the clear as Social Security recipients. It's actually going to get eaten up by all of the increase that takes place in the world for purchasing anything. The last time I went to a laundromat, I almost passed out. Everything is increasing. Lady Tamika, this 3.9%, should it actually be adjusted to the cost of living period? Or should it be, we're going to give you this 3.9% or whatever the percentage is going to be, and you just have to make your necessary adjustments? What's your thought?
It's so funny when we have stuff like that. It makes me go all the way back to school. Johnny had 5 apples and I needed 7 apples. A lot of times they give us these figures and it doesn't suffice anything. Everything is going up but your pay. And you think, oh, I finally get to the age where I can collect my Social Security. But you have all of these needs, and it's almost as if the system is making it so that you 70 years old and you still working. You 83 years old and you still, working as long as you can, because when you get Social Security, it's not going to be able to take care of everything.
Right.
Right. I look at some of the stuff that I normally buy, and Al and I, we bulk shop. So we shop for the month, and then you'll get your little knickknacks in between. But when we look at, sometimes we'll say, okay, you know what, we're going to refrain from getting that because the price fluctuates. Last time we saw it was $12. Now it's $19. And for somebody, it's nothing. But, for somebody who's aware of what we're paying and how much it costs, you get to the point where you're pinching pennies and, whereas you're going to the chicken and you're like, okay, that one is $11. That's $10.49. That's $10.23. I'll take the $10.23. And that's really hard for someone who is getting to the point where they're a senior. And I say to anybody, please, I don't care how old you are, please take care of your health now because medical, even medicine, trying to get access to just your everyday medicine. I remember there used to be a medication called Buckley's. If you try
I remember that. Mm-hmm.
If you're trying to get it here in New York, it's $30. Used to be a little bottle and used to pay the max $5. If you go to another country, and I have gotten access to it from another country, and they brought it back for me, but like just going to get something for a cold, if we think about when the pandemic transpired, trying to get Tylenol, trying to get your everyday vitamins, the price of vitamins. Why am I paying $24 for something and it's not even going to last me till the end of the month? We have to be very aware of everything that's going on. And, they keep talking about how they're going to tax the rich and, not worry about the middle age. I don't see it. I do not see it.
Shantice, you've got a 3.9% increase, which is pretty much $80 for the Social Security recipient. But now that's being eaten up by the real cost of living increase where everything is going up.
Then I say, don't tell me nothing. Just let me open and see my $80. And because I'm a senior. I'm being told I'm getting an extra $80. Psych! Don't do that to me. I'm too old. I can't handle that kind of excitement. Oh my God. It's like there's no breathing room. There's no that's all I keep hearing with stuff like this. We just heard about it a few minutes ago with the child care. Oh, there's $500 million. Yay! Psych. Y'all ain't getting none. Oh, you get an extra $80. Yay! Psych. Because that's going to get eaten up. It's like, listen. Let me just be surprised when I get an extra $5 after everything. After I balance out my checkbook and I get my meds and the luxuries like food. And if I got an extra $5, then I can celebrate. But I ain't, as they say in the streets, this ain't no come up. Why are we reporting this news? Vivian is giving, the stats for why y'all reporting this news as if this is a come up for people. It's like y'all find new ways to amp things up because you're able to give an extra $5. So we're able to give you extra $5, but now we decided to raise potato chips to $70. Because have you seen the price of potato chips now? It is just like, why? Why? It's the same potatoes from years ago. Ain't nobody told me y'all done grown any golden potatoes, but yet these chips you get less for more. It is every time you turn around. So that's all I keep hearing. It's like you're building people's hopes up, but then at the same time you're pulling the rug from underneath them. And it's like there's no relief.
I want my quarter chips back.
You said you want the what back?
The quarter chips. Remember we used to buy a bag of chips for 25 cents?
Yeah, and there's 2 chips in there.
Well, there are 2 chips in there now. It wasn't back in the day.
Back in the day, you had more chips than air. Now there's air and no chips.
No chips.
Yes.
Absolutely. All right. King says, in my city, when they give seniors more benefits, the senior centers increase the rent by that amount, and the old folks keep nothing. Pastor KL says, one of my assistant managers is 84 years old. She's been with the company for over 40 years. And that goes to your point, Lady Tamika, where people have to work until they're golden, through their golden years, because a lot of them can't afford to stop working. John says Social Security is death Social Security. Miss Halima says, read your labels. No matter what you do, let that be the determining factor. John says, I do not need Social Security. Amen. Amen. Good for you. Yeah, there's a death Social Security. Death benefits, I'm assuming that John is talking about. So my thing is, I'm still wondering why this country. So, okay, let's go back a little bit. If you become ill and you have not put enough quotas in for your Social Security, you can get SSI, and that's money straight from the government. For retirees and Social Security disability, you have to wait until you're sick or wait until you get to retirement age. I'm still trying to figure out why people who have worked to get to Social Security age, they have to worry about paying for anything. If you can give the people who have not worked Medicaid, food stamps, why are these people who have worked until they are retirement age, why are they not eligible for the same benefit? That makes no sense to me. So I've contributed for 30, 40, 50 years. I have to still pay for mine, but somebody else who has not contributed as much can get all of those benefits. Shame on this country for even making seniors pay for medicine and food and health insurance. Shame on you, because even though they get Medicare, do you realize that we still pay Medicare? We don't get Medicare. So in other words, all this time while you're working, you see Medicare come out your check. So when you get to be retirement age, you get Medicare coverage. That's what you've put into. But we still pay Medicare every month. That comes out of our check. That's not free for a retiree. It's horrible that this country is just so backwards. So even if they get their little 3.9%, y'all talking, they're talking about money that gets eaten up in food and rent. No, the increase is internal first. They raise Medicare. Your whatever health program you're under comes with a price. So you pay for that. So if they've increased that, then part of your increase is already eaten up before you can even get your check. So y'all talking about money that you get, what's left over. No, we already dealing with the leftovers from internal. Your prescription plan, oh my God, you're sick, you're elderly, you're gonna be sick. They make you pay for a prescription plan to cover your medical, your meds. That's eaten up out of the 3.9%. So by the time the check actually gets into your account, you must have about 1.2% out of that 3.9%. It doesn't even get eaten up by food and rent and, toiletries. No, we ain't made it that far. This is horrific for this country who has put the cart before the horse. How do you tell a person listen, where do you think the money is coming from that they give that's free to everybody else? It's coming out of your taxes. So I didn't pay for everybody else to eat, paid for everyone else to get health insurance. but I can't get it myself. I got to pay for mine too. The most cockeyed layout ever. And it is unfair. It doesn't make any sense. And unfortunately, you have a lot of people, like you have said, either they're stuck working into their senior years. Imagine traveling every day to a job and you're a senior citizen. Imagine this. You're literally traveling every day. You have to put up with all of this nonsense every day, and you're a senior. This is the most horrific thing we can even offer our people. King says, honestly, charging seniors for meds feels evil. It is evil, King. There's nowhere in the world we should be. They've put the retirement money that they get is what they've paid into. People are getting benefits for free because they don't have it. But where are they getting it from? Off the backs of the people who are working. How do you tell the working people that they had to pay? I'm now 73, and my next door neighbor could be somebody who's getting the same benefit for free because I've paid into that, and you're going to make me pay for hers or his and mine. It is evil. It is horrific. John says, when I learned...
I'm sorry. They have this new thing that they call the 80-20, whereas your coverage is supposed to pay 80 and then you end up paying the 20. Or what they'll tell you is Medicare will pay for one portion and then Medicaid will take care of everything else, so you won't have a debt. They got rid of that in 2024, and they slowly did it. So now, healthcare agents get calls from seniors that say, well, last year I had the same thing done. I had my eyes checked, I had, whatever, and now I got to pay. And unfortunately, the only thing that we could say to them is the rules have changed. You know how many calls we got back to back with that concern? So now you're charging them not just a little bit, you're charging them like you would charge me. Right. And my thing is they have given us 50, 60, some of them 70 years of their life. And now you got to scrimp and save, and you got to decide, okay, maybe I'll last for the last month on tuna fish because I can't afford it because I need my medicine.
Yep. This is real. And the 80-20 is generic. Even if you don't have, some of us get too much in Social Security, we're not eligible for the supplemental plan. So even you have those who got to do 80-20 and, the Medicare or the supplemental plan picked up your 20. Mm-hmm. I've never had that. From the time I've gotten Social Security, I've always been above the bar. So the 20% always has to come from my pocket. Mm-hmm. So, and that's the same thing with seniors.
Exactly.
And that's what I'm saying. This system is well off balance. They cannot make any sense out of this. John says, when I learned about Dr. Sebi, it was over with aging process. It's not from aging process. It's a glucose, and it's inside all the food they provide us to eat. I believe that, and they hurry up and got rid of Dr. Sebi. And he says, for drug pharmaceuticals, and that's always the argument. They got to keep the drug companies running. So that's why, they do what they do. Absolutely. All righty. Vivian gave us one topic merged, but I separated it because for me, these were two different issues. SNAP, they're starting to crack down on their recipients. You have to, if you're in between the ages of 18 to 64, you have to work at least 80 hours a month, or you have to volunteer 80 hours a month. That comes to an average of about 20 hours per week. And the exemptions are the disabled, the pregnant, and those who care for young children. Now, I have never known this benefit. Medicaid and SNAP have always been supplemental benefits. In other words, you've always had to have an income in order to qualify. So somewhere along the line, that kind of got pushed to the side, and they were not mandating this. But now they've stepped up their game, and now they are mandating people to volunteer or work. What say you, Shantice? Is this something that is asking too much or not enough?
I don't think it should be a cookie cutter thing. It shouldn't be where across the board, in order to get these benefits, you have to be working or volunteering. Because if physically I'm not able to do neither. Because if I'm able to volunteer, then I'm able to work, even if it's part-time. What's the difference? It's just one you're doing for no money at all. But even if I can't, so let's say if I have some type of physical disability where I may not be able to do a full 40-hour week, but I can do at least a 20 or 30-hour week max, then that's part-time. Okay, if I'm someone where I can't work at all, because at any given moment, I may need to lay down or sit down or something, and physically I'm not up for working, but you're mandating that I work or volunteer in order to receive these benefits, then I'm eliminated. So I don't think it should be a cookie cutter thing. I think they should do their due diligence and do their jobs and do their case by case, looking into each case by case and then determining that factor upon their research. But it should just be, this is what it needs to be, because again, y'all have the money. You have it. Stop choosing where you want to put it.
Okay. Lady Tamika, what say you? Is this listen, this is the basic you can do to get these benefits, or you know what? No, we need to even make it, more stringent than that.
Well, I mean, one of the things that caused this whole issue is that you didn't do your due diligence to begin with. You allow people to not work, to not do anything, and just, wait for the money to come. And now we're at this point where you can see that distribution of money everywhere, not just, that area needs help. I think that you need to do your job. The one job that you have, which would be to make sure that these resources are provided, just like you check on a monthly basis, you should check on a monthly basis to see, are you working now? Are you, what are you doing? Ask the right questions, inquire, that's your due diligence to ensure that, okay, what is your real situation? Are you bedbound and you can't function like that? You need, because there's all these different rules and guidelines that they keep changing, even with, I remember a couple of months ago, they had stated that if you got the food stamps, that nobody else, anyone who didn't have their signature, couldn't get things. We were trying to get something for a neighbor who is a double amputee, and we were permitted or prohibited from doing that. Do your due diligence, make sure that you inquire, get all the research case by case to find out. Now that's a lot of work. We've been doing it in the past. We could do it again.
Absolutely. All right. So maybe I'm not understanding something here. So we're being told that the 80 hours have to be filled with either work hours or volunteer hours.
Volunteer, yeah.
I'm lost here.
What's the difference? I mean, you're still working. The only difference is you're not making any money.
Right.
That's what I said.
Right. I'm a little lost. And that's, I'll take it. My little pea brain don't work all the time. But I'm trying to figure out, I must tell you, well, you know what? Work or volunteer. Then what is the criteria of volunteering? Can I say that I pick up for my neighbors, they feed their dog and I walk dogs, or I'm trying to understand the criteria for these. I'm telling you, these rules have become more lenient and more lenient and more lenient to get free food, and yet the people who have worked for 30, 40, 50 years
can't get what they need.
Right, are still trying to figure out how they gonna eat. And I'm saying to myself, how do you even make this make sense, as they say? You can't make this make sense. When Vivian said work or volunteer, she gave a third thing. I don't know what that thing was. But I'm like, well, what in the world does that mean? So I can volunteer and get free benefit? What in the world is this? What does that mean?
Do you assign me the volunteer work?
This is what I'm saying. Do you have like a community service list? I don't know.
And that should be taken up by those committing crimes.
Right.
There's enough of them committing crimes where that's part of their sentencing and or punishment. So if y'all are doing y'all due diligence in that area, then there shouldn't be that many assigned areas you should have listed for me to go and volunteer at. And don't get me wrong, there's always help needed everywhere. But if y'all were doing your due diligence there, none of us could just wake up and say, oh, I'll just go volunteer there, because you already have that spot allocated for whomever, because they've been sentenced to do that. So there is just.
But who's vouching for the volunteering?
No, nobody. I'm not about to leave my house for free.
Oh my gosh.
And who's watching to know that you did the volunteer work? I mean, what type
This is what I'm saying.
Do you wash Mr. Bob's car?
Right. That's what I'm saying. Who's vouching for the fact that you've even done some level of volunteering? And what constitutes volunteering? Because I'm sorry, just to say you work for no money, it's got to be more than this in order for you to get a SNAP benefit. I don't get it. I don't think I can move past that point.
And 8 hours of volunteer work? Where?
80 hours a month.
80 hours a month. Okay.
Yes, 80 hours a month. You have to either work or volunteer, and that averages about 20 hours a week. So that means divided by 7.
That's a part-time job.
You only got to do about 3-4 hours a day, and you good. You can eat for free. And yet, the people who have worked for years, 30 some odd years, they have nothing to eat. And you're giving this here, the financial status, you're the bar. If you're one person, if you're 2 people in a family, if you're 3 people in a family, even those numbers are not making sense. Even those numbers are not making sense. John says everyone dies from drug pharmaceuticals, and Serge says ain't volunteering working. Yeah, that's what we're saying, Serge. Isn't that volunteering? If you can start. Shanti said it. If you can volunteer, you can work. And there are working jobs out here. I still see all of these for hire signs. Why do we have so many hiring signs, and yet so many people claim they ain't got a job? I don't understand. All righty, we got our last and our wild story of the day. And boy, I'm so glad Vivian came with the clincher to this story, because we have talked about this ad nauseum. So out in Colorado, a woman meets a man. She has a child, and she works at the Motel 6, I guess, reception. And because Vivian said go down to the desk, and she meets this guy who checks into the Motel 6. Well, after a couple of days, she decides to move her and her son in to the Motel 6 room along with this gentleman. She leaves the child in the room so she can go downstairs and do her job at the desk. And while she was down there, this child suffered a level of abuse, killing him or her. And this is not as cut and dry as we have said. Stop leaving your child or children with these men. But now they're throwing something into the mix. People are saying if it were not for the cost of living being so high and so hard for single moms to make it happen just by herself, she would not be forced to go into this particular situation. So they're not blaming her for her bad decision. They're blaming those who they feel have forced her to make this decision. Lady Tamika, are you in agreement or are you in a disagreement state?
My heart totally breaks, that she would be. You work for this company. You work in it. It's not like you work down the street. You work in this hotel, and the fact that we have seen so many times where we put our jewels, if you will, our seed, in the hands of somebody that we don't know. Did you not have a family member? Did you not have a relative? Did you not have a friend? Nothing. And you left your baby in the hands of this. We've seen it time and time again, and I would rather, I think about the postal worker who had her child in the truck with her. I also think about the Uber driver that had her children in the vehicle, making greater decisions. My thing is meeting somebody that quick, and taking your seed and giving it to somebody. I just, there's nothing that I can think of that the powers that be that would force me to do that. I just can't. Somebody, a friend, a family member, a relative, we have got to be wiser with the choices that we make.
All righty. Shantice.
This is clearly not us. Because if I have to bring you to work, you're trained. You sit here with your sippy cup, your bag of juice, and you be quiet. If it's to the degree where I have absolutely no one who can watch you. Now, everyone keeps thinking I be extra, I be thinking over the top, I be doing all. The more I hear these stories, the more I care less about how people think about the way I think. Because these stories just confirm. I'm working at a motel where when I open the door, I'm already outside. The mentality of people who stay there.
I didn't know she was going to go there.
The mentality of people who stay there already says enough for me. When we take certain jobs, we have to stop acting like we don't know the mentality of the people who are patronizing these establishments. And a lot of the times the people who choose to work at said establishments. Let's call it what it is. Okay? The fact that you met this man here and a day or so later you laid up with him confirms what I just got finished saying.
Yeah.
The mentality of me choosing to work at an establishment like this and the mentality of someone who stays at an establishment like this, that you would come and stay here and now you get to lay up with me. I work here and I get to lay up with you. Just confirms the mentality of when you open your door and you're already outside. Okay? So now I have a child, an innocent child who has no say in this scenario. This ain't got nothing to do with the fact that I can't afford childcare. This has everything to do with the fact that I feel like now I can say my man gets to watch my child. I got a man that, oh, my man got my child. My man watching my child. This ain't got nothing to do with me not being able to afford healthcare. Because I couldn't afford healthcare 2 days before I met this man. I didn't get into the deficit after I met him. I was already broke before I had the intercourse that produced this child. I was broke when I decided to keep this child. I was broke when I had the child. So now all of a sudden healthcare makes my decisions. No.
Childcare.
Right. I'm sorry, childcare and healthcare, mental healthcare. Makes these decisions. No, stop. This ain't got nothing to do with that. This is just like the scenario of the woman who stabbed her man because he would rather air fry the chicken and take her out. It's the fact of me being able to say things, to be able to say certain things, the perception of certain things. Oh yeah, I'm at work, my child good, he or she is with my man. You downstairs working the desk and your man is upstairs strangling your child. How do you feel now, knowing that this stranger, you might as well have just randomly knocked on the door and asked whoever was sitting there, can you hold my child down for a few hours? What was the difference? That is horrible. And for whoever is saying, oh, this has, again, it just proves what side of the fence is. This ain't got nothing to do with that. Nothing to, so we're gonna ignore that these grown people made this choice? Because healthcare, childcare being childcare. Ain't nothing changed. This is horrific.
Where do we get on trusting somebody that we just met? With all the predators that we have out there.
With all the stories.
When do I say, hello, nice to meet you? Okay, here's my child. Watch him.
A lot of what Shanti said is where my head was. So already she makes bad judgment calls when I'm working, period. Whether I have a child or whether I don't have a child, I know I need to work because I know I need to take care of myself. All right. Now, already you could tell where my head is when a man comes and checks himself into this hotel. How do we get to the point where I even talk to you long enough to decide to sleep with you? How do I even get there? Because see, I have never had that kind of conversation on my job. This don't happen. I'm at the desk signing you in. All I need is your name, your credit card, or your cash, if that's the type of business we have. Here's your room key. Enjoy your stay. That's it. That's it. Tamika always says, one job. That's all you had to do. That's all she had to do. How do I let a man talk to me long enough where I end up in his room, or when he invites me in his room, I don't feel you've overstepped your boundaries?
That's my job.
This is what I'm saying. I'm working. There ain't no time for me. Ain't enough hours in the day for you to come down and stand here at this desk and talk to me. I'm only working an average of 8 hours. No. Now, I'm going to tell you something. There have been twice I have watched a mom or somebody, when we went away recently, when I went to check us in, it was a man. It was a man who was checking me in. Behind the desk was a little, they had like a little plastic fence and some toys. You could tell that a child was behind that desk at one point. So maybe another employee kind of took them away, to kind of let them stretch their legs or change their pamper or whatever the situation is. But they were behind, or maybe he was relieving the mom. Somebody was keeping a kid there on that job. Another time I went to a broker, an insurance broker, and in the corner, she had a baby set up and everything. And I was with her for years. I actually watched this kid grow up there with her mother until it was time for her to go to school. And mom would open it, work during school hours. And after school, the baby would be there. So there's ways we can get this thing done. But for you to get to a point that single or with a child, you decide you're gonna move it. How have you moved in with this man? Oh my God. What, child or no child? How have you decided? What game does he run that you say, you know what? I'm doing so bad. I need a place to stay. How about me and you shack up? Now, here's the other thing that came to my mind. You said that Vivian said she went downstairs to work. That means that you're not working. So there's no standards at all. I can meet you at this hotel. What kind of game are you running that I'm working, but I'm going to deal with a man that don't work. And I just met you. And not only am I going to deal with a man that don't work that I just met, but I'm going to put my child in the hands of a man who don't work, who I just met. Whether you're single or whether you had a child, you are full of making bad decisions. How in the world could anybody look and hear this scenario and blame anybody other than her? How could you blame any entity? Nobody forced you to have no kid. You decided to have the kid. So whether you were well off when you had the kid, maybe with a husband, and something happened and now you find yourself a single mom, whether you got pregnant with somebody you were dating, but I'm going to tell you something. She does not show a track record of making good decisions. This is the person you put your child in the hands of. This is the person right on this picture that you decided to sleep with, whether you had a child or not. And you just met him 2 days ago.
Yeah, it's man veins.
So it's a hotel. It's a motel, not a hotel, right?
Right. Yep. Right. That's what Shantice was saying. That's why I said certain things she said was in my head, because I'm saying to myself, well, that means he's living from pillar to post.
I'm about to say, because most of those motels are crime ridden, which is why you can pay me to work there. Yes, that's where the prostitutes get stashed, the trafficking gets stashed. That's where a lot of these drug deals, when you on the run, I don't want to work there.
Yeah, they're charged by the hour, not the day.
Right.
Because at any given moment, you can say, he's out, and you going somewhere to the next motel. I'm good. I don't want to be around this quality of people. I'm okay. There's somebody else, obviously, who would want to take this job. I'm all right. So already, and it's not all, but most, that's what motels are known for. That type, which is why,
because they have a quick turnover.
Right, which is why, like Lady Tamika said, you get charged by the hour, because I don't have to be committed and locked in to stay. I might not make it through the night. I just might not make it through the night. So I'm gonna pay you for 2 hours. And a half of the third hour. So I'm gonna pay you for 2.5 hours, because I just may not make it through the night. If I make it through the night, I'll come down and I'll give you more. I don't want to work nowhere like that. I just don't. So like you said, now here you come and you stay in here. I'm already looking for this. That's what that says to me. I'm already looking for someone to come here and save me. Because there's no way this accidentally happened.
No. In a matter of a couple of days, she decided to move in with him. Who's him, y'all? Who's him? Somebody please tell me who him is. Tamika, who is him? Shantice, who is him? I'm moving in with him. I don't even know who him is.
Him is the man who killed your child.
Right. I'm going to move in with him. But we don't even know who him is. And when we hear this story, we say, if it weren't for the cost of living, she wouldn't have had to make this decision. I don't care if me and my kid were sleeping on the street. We wouldn't make no, but here's my thing. Ain't you working? Can't you afford to rent your own room?
Obviously
even
not.
if you have even if you didn't have nothing better. Okay, so listen, we're talking about making it work by any means necessary. Already, I work here. I can't work out with management. Listen, I'm really on hard times right now. Can you give me $10, $15 off? Something that because I'm really having a hard time here. I only have enough money for childcare, but I can do this. Can I stay here till I get on my feet? Why? Why we can't do that? Why is the consideration I'm a moving with a stranger? Because that's exactly what we're talking about. Someone I have no idea as to who you are. Not only do I not know who you are, I've left my child, my precious jewel, with a person I have no idea of who you are. I'm sleeping next to you and I don't know who you are. I may not wake up the next morning. What are we doing that people could actually look on and say, that wasn't really her fault?
People who are not used to knowing what it is to have to struggle and make it. That's why I said that she was broke before the conception.
Yeah.
How is it that now I'm acting desperate now? Whatever I can't afford now, I couldn't afford when it was just me. So now I understand that I couldn't live off of $5. But I know me and my child can live off of $5. And now I'm choosing to work in a place that is not giving me any wiggle room for growth. Because I'm sorry, there's no promotions in the motel. When you work your way from housekeeping to the front desk, there's no promotions there. Okay, so I'm not even trying to put my head to where, okay, well, let me at least work from the bottom in an establishment where I can grow. Even if this may not be where I will want to have a career, but at least it'll get me the experience and I might grow to love it. You're not even placing yourself there. You're placing yourself in an environment that is not, and see, people keep underestimating where you place yourself. You're placing yourself around people that are not, you're not surrounded in a hotel. You're not working a front desk in a hotel where you see men and women coming in with suits and briefcases and they got careers and jobs and there's business meetings and lunches. Nothing to motivate you. Nothing. People keep underestimating these kind of things. That I may be working the front desk and I'm needed because in order for you to have your business meeting, in order for you to travel in for conventions and whatever else, you need front desk people, you need housekeeping, so by all means, don't downplay, those positions. However, are you surrounding yourself in an environment like that where you will want to look over and say, wow, there is life beyond this desk? No.
I don't. Okay,
you're looking out into the highway.
I partially agree with you. I get where you're going, and I'm not disagreeing. But there are times, unfortunately, I've never been there, and I give God thanks that I have not been there. But I am aware that there are times where we have made such bad decisions that this is where we land. But there is an up. And that's why I said many people, look at, we just had a few weeks ago, Dr. Taylor, look at what the story that she gave. Mm-hmm. So if you find yourself, okay, I can't, you know what? Because I'm gonna tell you something. This could very well be a person who's uneducated and getting and I just need to make the money because I got this child. We gotta survive. So you may not be at the point where you can get a job, believe it or not, even at that level, what you're talking, but you can get a job at this seedy motel. Now, again, you, I, and Lady Tamika, we could make this kind of decision where we have options, but there are other people who have put themselves in a position, or they have landed at a they don't have many more options than this. So that's why I said, okay, so if you have to work here, then you have to work here. However, make smart decisions. At what point do you begin to make smart decisions? That's why I said the first thing that comes to my mind is, listen, I may not have any place to live, but guess what? I'm working in a place that have a whole lot of rooms. And if I don't have to be here forever, me and my baby don't have to be here forever. But I think the first greatest thing that has happened is that you're at a place where you can live. You can lay your head. You can secure this room. You can work with the housekeeping to make sure that this room is kept clean. If I give you a couple of extra dollars, you have to do a little extra thing. And right now we have to, buy food. I get a little hot plate maybe. And I keep me and my baby going, or we eat out, whatever the situation is. And all the two biggest things in life have already been taken care of. A place to live and a job. You good? So now the next hurdle is childcare. And you work at it until you ask the boss. I know, please. I know you're telling me this ain't no babysitting place. I know this is not a childcare, but I'm really here right now. Is there something that I can do? Something I can do to kind of hold down this until I can find a babysitter. I'm actively looking. So you need to get over that third hurdle. You cannot get over that third hurdle when you just threw your options down the toilet because you continue to make bad decisions. So again, this is a person who is accustomed to making bad decisions. This is not a desperate move. It's not a desperate move, because even desperate moves come with some level of logic and safety. Desperate moves don't have to be reckless moves. I mean, come on. And maybe some people don't see the difference, but no. So even if she can't work at, the Crown Royale Hotel, that's okay. But you know what? I'm working toward being able to work at the Crown Royale. But I got to get through this point of my life. And like I said, by God's grace, as an onlooker, listen, as a single mother, you got two of them hurdles already taken care of. You always need a place to stay. It may not be the safest in this motel, but again, they see you there all the time. Them people know you. Pay attention. They see you. They know you. The same people frequent this place all the time. And if you ever notice, they kind of take care of themselves. They kind of take care of one another. You've seen this happen before. So, you know what? Just follow what you need to do. You don't have to operate like this, where you go live up with a man who already has shown he ain't about nothing. He ain't about nothing. You know what he just saw? He just saw the person at the counter. He know he got a place to stay. Because all he got to do is sleep with him. And he can lay his head there as long as he can. He already know he got a place to stay, because as long as she's sleeping up in there, he got a place to stay. Yo, ladies, pay attention. Know the game. You benefiting him right now. You didn't let him talk in your head long enough that you're willing to move in with him. Where were you living before then? That's my question. That you would give up your place to stay to move in with him. So now he's on his gravy train. Yo, Serge says she's dumb. You don't even know this man. She's from a reckless behavior, decision maker direction. That's what this bottom line is. And this is scary. This is very scary. Ladies, Woo! Has this been some conversation today? Thank you so much for your contribution. I'm going to give you one last thing to say before we go off here. Lady Tamika, what you got?
Well, one of the things that I thought about is maybe the child's father was one of those situations where she was leaving, from one traumatic situation and then jump ship to another. We have got to be literally more careful with ourselves, with our lives, with, it almost seems like, well, I don't have any other options, so I'm just going to leave my child with whomever while I do this, however many hours. And we cannot jump ship. We cannot, with our lives, with our seed, and, she would fault this man but you literally gave your child to this man, and the fact, just common sense, just thinking about, we already talk about children and children being awake and alert. 9 times out of 10, this child was trying to tell you, Mommy, don't leave me with this person. The whole reason possibly why the child was crying was like, I don't feel safe. The child is telling you, Mommy, I don't feel safe. All over the place. And she still left this child in the hands of someone who caused detriment, not just detriment, but death. And we have got to be oh so much careful with the things that we do. We have to be intentional with our children, with our lives, because each time that we tell God no, this is the end result. We end up at a loss, we end up deficient, and the things that should be growing, the things that should be prospering, the things that should benefit us lead in death.
Amen. Shantice, what's the word on your way out?
Make better decisions. Stop living out of desperation. Stop, because this didn't cost you more than it cost that baby, that helpless child. You lost your baby, that baby lost his or her life and went through the actual torture and suffering. So make better decisions from now. There's a lot within the concept of, God has given me stewardship over me. I can't handle the stewardship over me, but then now I've added another life for me to be responsible for when I've proven I can't be responsible for myself. And now I've helped someone else. I gave the opportunity for someone else to do something. We don't like to look at it like that either, but that's what we do. We provide opportunities for other people to now fall and now have blood on their hands. So we need to really, really tap into Jesus and really understand the importance of learning how to be responsible for me under God's tutelage, so that if he should bless me to have to be responsible for anyone else, whether it be a child or a man or whatever, because all of this just shows that there's just no responsibility. So tap into him so he can show you what that really means, so that you're not out here not only wrecking your life, but wrecking other lives.
Amen. Amen. Thank you so much, ladies, for your contribution into today's conversation. And we pray you have a blessed day.
Thank you, you too.
Thank you. We always end up with a wow at the end of our cycle. And this wow is a wow. And I knew Vivian was not bringing this story for the normal, because we've talked about women leaving their children with these men, especially men that they hardly knew. We have not gotten down to a couple days. This was a whole new level. But for anyone, again, to look on to this situation and actually place the blame somewhere else is amazing. And it shows the weakness of this world. You know, there are people who have a hard time blaming. And I think we need to kind of fall away from, well, you can't blame a person. Oh my goodness, that statement right there is dangerous. I don't see anywhere in the Bible where God says, well, I can't blame them. I haven't found it yet. What I have found is in something that I always quote: in your ignorance, he winked at you, which means you simply didn't know. And I still would not term it, I can't blame you because you didn't know. Because it is still a level of escape from that. Because I need to know what qualifies knowing. See, we have to begin to look at things the way God looks at things. I also come across, which is what I always say, too much is given, much is required. We are responsible for the things that we have. Because if I want to lean on, I can't blame her because she doesn't know. Am I also going to take into consideration that there were ways that she could have found out, but she did not try? That's why I said I'm still, even when I see the scripture that says God winks at you in the time of ignorance. See, only God can really determine what's that ignorant stage. Because see, we too busy pacifying and making light of and excusing behavior. And I can't see anyone who has a level of standard looking at this situation and saying, I can't blame her. I have to blame the system. The system didn't force her to have no baby. We ain't talking about this abortion area where we talked about yesterday, where, if you have an abortion, it's illegal. We ain't talking about that. We're not talking about that. We're talking about when we're careless. I can walk in those shoes and say that I was careless. When we make decisions, we get pregnant, and then we throw caution to the wind, and we figure out we're going to make it, and we're going to struggle, and we're going to do whatever we have to do. And still, we're throwing caution to the wind because we feel like, okay, I'm going to do whatever I have to do to make this thing work. So we've already started off not making the best decision. So now our climb is upward, opposed to us walking or kind of leveling up because we're improving. Now we got to come from struggle stage into a level of survival, and then it's sink or swim. You know what I'm saying? So we have to be very careful of what we dismiss, what we make light of. And like I said, I don't know her background. And a lot of people want to say, well, we don't know where she came from, and we don't know what she wants, and we don't know, she really could have had a heart there. And I don't doubt any of that. What does that say for the baby's life? Oh, she was trying hard as a mother. What does that say for this dead child? There has to be a point where we get to where we make better decisions. And yes, contrary to what a lot of people believe, when God wakes you up every day, let me help you understand what he says. He says, I wake you up with brand new tender mercies. That means there's another opportunity for you to get this thing together. We may see ourselves waking up in the same old situation that we've been in. But God says different. Oh, God says different. God says, no, I gave you a clean slate somehow. What are you going to do with that clean slate? Now, for those of us who don't know the Lord, we don't know the Bible, we don't know the verses, how do we know that we have these opportunities? See, we know because we read the verses, and we know because somebody brought us up at church. Let me tell you something. There is no way I am going to believe, with all the verses that I'm reading, that God would give us brand new mercies, wake us up, everybody. He says everybody. He didn't say those who are called by his name. He didn't say those who have claimed me. He says everyone wakes up with brand new tender mercies. That means that he has already given you some level of opportunity to make better decisions. But it's up to you to say, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. Do you know how many people I speak to who are okay with living in a deficit? And that's what it seems to be the world's chant. I'm good where I am. I'm listening to people who have so much potential. How do I see more potential in you than you see in you? But they are parlaying right where they are. They're staying in bad relationships. I've had several, oh my gosh, over the years, I've had several conversations of people who know they could do better. I had somebody tell me, well, I figure I've done so much dirt in my life that, what I'm getting from that person, I deserve. God didn't wake you up for you to continue to think that way. Somewhere along the line, he's introduced freedom to you. Because he says, I don't want anyone to perish. You are that anyone. He or she is that anyone. So you're going to tell me that God wakes us up, cleans the slate in a certain way, because only he knows what he's cleaned and what he hasn't. But all of us work up with some level of this slate clean. He says, I don't want anyone to perish, but he won't give you a way out. Oh no, because there's a verse that says, there is no temptation that is uncommon to man, but that God would not give a way out. Now, you could take that temptation in any sense, in any shape, form, or fashion. He says, but that is not common to man, which means that you ain't the only one that's going to be going through this thing. So in other words, this young lady was not the only one who found herself working at a Motel 6 with a child struggling. Just she ain't the only one. She's not the first and she's not going to be the last. But because God woke her up with a brand new slate, he doesn't want to see anyone perish, so he gave her a way out. I may not see her way out. You may not see her way out. But God has given her a way out. And it's up to her to just have that determination. I'm not going to live like this. Me and my child, I don't care how I got here. And somebody might say, well, you know what? Maybe she thinks that this way was her come up. This was her way of getting into a better situation. There's no way in the world. There's no way in the world. Listen, ain't no way in the world you didn't heard all these stories that have surfaced over the past 2-3 years. No way have you heard of all these women leaving these with men they know, sometimes with the father. And you ain't heard none of this that would say, I can't trust my child to this man, even for a couple of hours, because it takes place that quickly. You ain't heard no stories. Nobody's spoken to you. And then, no, that's not the God we serve. He says, I don't want anyone to perish. That means there's some shape, form, or fashion. He's coming through. He's coming through with your name on it. Your name. He's not coming through for Stephanie only. He's not coming through this town and he's only reaching out for Shantice. And this whole block, there's 100 residents, but he's only coming out for Tanika. Stop. And this is why every day we encourage you to read the word of God. That's why every day we encourage you to seek God for yourself, because see, this is how we know. Because we've lived these things. I'm going to be honest. It's really hard to sell me on a single mother's woes. I'll be honest. Because I've lived this thing. And I didn't, if you only know my story. And the same way God gave me an out is the same way he's giving every other single mother an out. Unless she's rejected him and he's now stepping back because she does not want him. Now, her out may not be the same as my out, but the same way he does not want to see not only her perish, but the child or children that she has brought into this world. She has brought these children into this world. And I want to remind each and every one of you that the children belong to God before they belong to us. So there's nowhere in the world, God, regardless of how you got them here, if God allowed them to come here, there is no way that we serve a God that would not give you a way out. He's already promised that. And he's a man that keeps his promise. He is not playing. He's not joking. He's not a man that would lie. He comes through on everything he says. So I don't care how you look at this situation here. We have to put the blame where the blame belongs. Not only is this child dead, but this baby suffered. This baby suffered. I suffer with fibromyalgia. And one of the things that we experience is a blow of a level 3 to you is a level 9 to us. We're a lot more sensitive to blows and pains and things like that. So you can't read my pain. I've had the girls, my girls like hit me and I'm like, ow. And they're like, all I did was tap you. It's a tap to you, but it's not a tap to me. It's like a blow to me. That baby was beaten to death. That baby suffered because of your decision. And yes, she's going to have to live with this until, the day God closed her eyes and, we can't make it hard on her, then the Lord's going to make it or she going to live with it. No, stop it. Stop it. We're going to have to deal with our decisions. I'm not about to pacify any of this. Because we are living in a world where, listen, she got a cell phone. She got a phone. I bet you if she ain't got nothing else, she got a phone. And I don't care how much scrolling you do, you coming across these stories. I don't care how much scrolling you do or how little scrolling you do. You coming across some news. And you're not going to tell me that you have never heard one story of the danger of leaving your child, even for the most logical or desperate reason, with an absolute stranger. For you to put yourself, like I said, even without a child, for her to put herself in that situation was already dangerous. And we've heard stories about that. But now you layer the danger to a child that cannot take care of themselves. And I'm going to pass this over. The blame belongs to someone else. When I say I'm blaming her, that doesn't mean I'm crucifying her. But I am assessing her bad judgment. And we all make bad decisions. Every day we run the risk of making decisions that could have been better made. I don't care where we are, in the Lord or outside of the Lord. We can make better decisions. I can look back every day. Everybody can look back on yesterday and say, you know what? I could have done that a little bit better. I don't care how slight. I don't care if it wasn't destructive, but we can always make better decisions. And we are assessing her bad decisions. Her bad decisions, a series of decisions, went into her child's death. And Shantice touched on something that I didn't really, I was like, you know what? I wonder if anybody's understanding also that she helped him to make a bad decision. Because you didn't take time to get to know him. So clearly he has an anger problem, or clearly he has a drug problem, or something that set him off so badly that that baby crying caused him to abuse that baby unto death. So now you help put him in a situation where he's eagerly triggered. You got to pay attention to stuff like that. Shantice is absolutely right. Because that was one of my thoughts. I'm like, well, she set him up for failure as well. They set one another up for failure. He played on what he clearly saw was her weakness. And she did the same. He knew he couldn't handle no baby crying. It wouldn't have happened that quickly. This ain't the first time he didn't lost control. It may not have been with a child, but he didn't lost control before, because this ain't the first time so fast. You leave him to go to work. You right downstairs. If he didn't do anything but pick up this crying, screaming baby and get on the elevator or get on the steps and walk down 2 flights of stairs to say, listen, I didn't sign up for all of this. You're going to have to keep this baby. Where was that? He didn't have to get in a car. He didn't have to walk across the street. Take the baby as is, with its bottle, pacifier, a blanket, and go downstairs and put that baby on the floor and say, listen, I'm out. I can't do this. That's not what happened. So then he's got some type of anger issue or something's going on, but you didn't take long enough to find out. That's because she's in the habit of making bad decisions. Well, I'm going to turn this around to you. What decisions can you make better? Are you on a journey of making bad decisions? It doesn't have to be like this, but are your decisions bad, regardless of what it's in? Do you make bad financial decisions? And that's why you can't take care of yourself. Have you made bad decisions in your past that now you're living in now? Because although you may be fixing your bad, your money, the way you spend your money, guess what? You're going to have to eat what you've done already. And climbing out of a financial bind is one of the hardest. Have you told God no for so long that the only thing you can do is make bad decisions? Because you haven't put him in your life to make the decisions for you, guide you into making better decisions. Where are you right now? Where are you in your decision making? Because we all can make better decisions. Have we just taken a job because it was paying more, but we didn't look at some of the other stuff that wasn't so great? We making the money, but the other stuff is not great. There's a verse that says you can make all the money you want, all the money you need, but if you don't put God in the forefront of your life, it'll be like you got holes in your pocket. So if you make $1 million, but you put it in a pocket with holes in it, where do you go from there? It'll be like you're not making the money because you're not giving your life to God. See, making better decisions is very broad, but very narrow. And every day we appeal to you. I close out this show appealing to you to put God in the front of your life so that we can stop making as many bad decisions. Because somewhere along the line, your flesh and spirit is going to take over and you're going to make a move. It may not be a destructive move, but it may be a move that would set you on another path. And now you got to let God help you get back on that path. It may be decisions where, you're going to get off track and now you're going to have to stay there for a minute before you get back on track. God is trying to prevent you from going through all of this. What are you trying to do for you to keep you from making bad decisions? Let this lesson from this young lady and this young man be a trigger for us to make the decision to make God the head of our life so that we don't make bad decisions. Bad decisions that it takes some time to come back from. Bad decisions that we can't come back from. If you mess around and sleep with the wrong person unprotected, you're going to end up possibly with an STD. Now, some STDs, we could take some pills and get rid of it. Some STDs, you can get a shot and get rid of it. Other STDs are there to stay. And no matter how much they may lie dormant, they are there They rear their ugly head at a point. There are so many ways we can get caught up when we don't make the best decision. And God does not want to see us suffer. When we cry, He cries all the time. So let's get this together. Let's let this story be a lesson to us. I got to be up on my game. I got to make better decisions. Well, I'm going to help you understand that you can be up on your game as much as you can, but if you do not have God in the forefront of your life, you cannot make the best decision. You may make a better decision, but unless you have God, you will never access the best. You've been watching It's Due Time with Pastor Steph. Join us Monday through Friday from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. where we discuss matters of the heart, mind, and spirit. As you go through your day, be sure to set your mind on things that are above, not on things that are on the earth. They will only serve as a distraction. Remember, prayer changes things. It's Pastor Steph signing off, and I want to thank my Due Time crew, the ladies, for always coming through big time. Thank you for hanging out with us each and every day. Please do not miss this opportunity to take Jesus as your personal Savior right now. Please do not miss this opportunity to just strengthen that relationship with the Lord right now, because later is not promised to any of us. Until tomorrow, God spares. Now, don't forget, we're on at 7:30 tomorrow night right here for a live review of The Chi, Season 4 and Episodes 1 and 2 of its finale, Season number 8. Please join me, Pastor Steph, Shantice, and that Brooklyn guy, Brother Ainsley, as we'll be on here tomorrow night at 7:30, and Facebook Live, Coach for Christian Life, and Instagram Live, A Closer Walk Media Network. Join us tomorrow. Let us see how everybody is kind of going up out of here. All right. Until tomorrow morning for Therapeutic Thursday. I love you.